By geeks.
About geeks.
For geeks.
Welcome to Geeks of Azeroth!
That's me. It's going very good, other than the fact, like you say, I've got an infatuation with my keyboard. What? Yeah, exactly. The guilty man. Mine's been very quiet, and I realise that's one of those really sort of boring starts to the show. But it's because I was editing for a large portion of this week, in what little time I had, the first impressions video of Mardoom, the Demon Hunter starting zone for Legion. Thank you. So that I put that up on YouTube on Friday, so it's there, and that really is it. So I've kind of just tried to get the content onto the interwebs, which has kind of been my week. Otherwise, I've kind of caught the back end of a lot of StarCraft 2 finals going on, and the one came. Well, I've missed most of the drama, unfortunately. I've just kind of jumped in literally on the last couple of matches. But I'm probably going to spend the rest of my weekend after this show trying to catch up on Heroes of the Dawn, just in time to miss it, because it comes on at, 4 a.m. where I am. So, yeah, not a lot otherwise.
Mostly uneventful, I guess. I think just been playing a little bit of Heroes, a little bit of Hearthstone. Yeah, that one. But nothing spectacular. Not climbing ranks super fast on Hearthstone or anything. So. Because, I don't know. I got nothing for you.
Look to be the best. I was sitting there typing, so I would have jumped in there. That's all right. You know, Big Voodoo, you can train to be the best. You can be the best like no one ever was. And then I was going to say to catch them is your real test, but to collect them is your real test. I think there needs to be a Hearthstone Pokemon parody theme somewhere.
There probably is somewhere.
There probably is. What about you, Tarley? One thing I should have added that I forgot to mention in last week's show was I managed to actually get my DK to level 100. So that's five hundreds now. And the irony is the first character I think we've already said the character I'm going to be leveling first in Legion is going to be a Demon Hunter. So I'll have 6. I'll have 6 by the time I actually buy the expansion. Which I haven't yet because I love the hard copies. I need to get the hard copies. So yeah, that happened.
Hey, we recording? Yeah? Okay.
News of the week.
I just realized yet again that the stream could not hear me up until this point. At least we did. At least they only missed the intro this time. We were right into news of the week. So,
is this you realizing or them realizing?
No, I actually realized. I'm like, hold on, did I didn't. Oh man. Okay. So
they must just think, who is this mime they've got for the show?
All right, well, it's time to jump right into news of the week, and we're doing news of the week a little bit differently. You can let us know if you hate it, love it, whatever, but we're just really going to jump right through the news so we can get right on to discussing things. So, first off, this week, Overwatch Ranked Mode has been unveiled. You can now, it's very bare bones-ish, but you can now work your way through 5 different tiers, which take forever, and each ranked mode is going to, or each rank is going to reset every month, is what they're planning on doing seasons right now, which is causing a lot of controversy, but we can discuss that later. Nostralius, the vanilla private server, is being shut down. This, again, causing controversy within the Blizzard community because they had over 100,000 active players on this server. There's a lot of current WoW servers that don't have that many active players right now. So they're wondering if Blizzard really should have taken this down, or if Blizzard should actually start doing vanilla servers of their own. And last but not least, BlizzCon tickets are going on sale April 20th and the 23rd for $200 a piece, and then followed later the 27th, I believe, is when the benefit dinner tickets will go on sale for $750 US. So hopefully I can manage to get into the queue for one of the original tickets. Otherwise, I'm going to be shelling out $750, which I don't want to do. But
You
I
weren't
will.
doing that already?
It will be worth it. It will be worth it. Because BlizzCon is always awesome. So that's kind of how we're going to be doing news of the week. We're going to run through, and then if we decide we want to discuss any of the news topics, we will. So first off, again, ranked mode in Overwatch, it's very bare bones-ish. There's a lot of controversy with how it works, how slowly or how long it actually takes you to progress through each ranked. I'm still in the first challenger tier, trying to work up. And you can't lose rank in challenger for losing, thankfully, but don't seem to win that often without teammates, so it's taking a while. You don't gain any points for losing, but once you're out of challenger, you will lose points. So it's interesting, definitely interesting. What do you guys think about the vanilla private server, though? What are your thoughts? You think Blizzard should shut it down? It is a violation of their terms of service. But can you? I don't know. Do you think this is something that should stay around? Do you think Blizzard should actually do vanilla servers?
Go on, Bigfoot. Shall I go first? I'll go first.
I think I got one.
Okay. All right. Let's hear it.
So, my big thing is, like, why are they doing it now? Because obviously it's been around for a while. So why are they just now getting around to shutting it down? It almost makes me wonder if that's not what they're thinking of. Maybe they want to start making vanilla servers and putting those out there, so they're shutting down essentially their own competition to do it.
That is actually exactly what I thought about it too. That why now? Because they're doing it themselves. What do you think, Britzza?
Well, I think there's loads of things. I was watching a couple of videos actually this morning, where various YouTubers were talking about what this is, because I have to be honest, this wasn't something I even knew about before it happened. I guess I hadn't really looked into the sort of the vintage WoW or the vanilla WoW scene, but it's tough because I kind of agree with what Blizzard did. I think fair game because they're allowed to. It's their property, their intellectual property. They're allowed to do it. But I think, I don't know. On some ways, I think it's really damaging from a PR perspective because it makes it seem like they're being a bit of a big corporate bully, which is not what they want to come across. But at the same time, you know, these are people who are not paying to play vanilla WoW. 150,000 active accounts. I think it's about 800,000 accounts in total.
Yeah.
You know, some people are suggesting that even though they don't report the subscriber numbers, we're down to near 4 million for WoW. That's what some people are suggesting. So in that case, this is a quarter of the size of live WoW, as it were. So it's a huge figure that Blizzard probably wants that, you know, even if half of those start paying for the game, it at least boosts their actual subscriber numbers.
And it was taken down today, and there was a big thing where a huge group on the community actually went together on this pilgrimage run from Orgrimmar to Thunderbluff. This whole group, they all walked there, and then they got to a cliff and they all jumped off, killed the character.
Really?
Yep.
Jeez, that's really dark.
Yeah. It was their way of saying
Wow.
goodbye to the server, but it definitely makes me wonder. Like, I think if Blizzard were to do this, I think I would actually be interested in because I never even got to play vanilla. Like I didn't play back in vanilla. I didn't start playing till Wrath of the Lich King. So I would definitely want to see what it was like to have to take a month to level from 1 to 60 at least, the very least a month. You know, I don't know. I hear people say no, you never want to go back to vanilla, but if the option's there, I don't know.
Very different game back then.
It was a very different game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you guys do it? Would you guys play it if Blizzard released classic servers or Wrath servers, BC servers?
BC definitely. I really liked BC.
I don't know. I think it's just rose tinted glasses. I think it'd be something like I go, yeah, I really want it, and then I'll be playing it, and I'd be like, oh, I haven't got any of my heirloom gear, and
I know
sucks.
people who would play it specifically for that, who don't like the game anymore, but would totally play it if those servers were active. So, yeah, it's just interesting perspective, I guess.
The leveling would be painful, but being at level cap at 70 was good. PvP was good in BC. Yeah.
And any other news topics before we just go right on to our discussions of the week?
We were right about BlizzCon.
We were right. The dates, November 4th and 5th. Again, of course, we call everything. Now, this was probably one of our easiest predictions because Blizzard tends to do the first weekend in November consistently, but still, we were right.
I think
They
Blizzard
knew it
just
was
listens to the podcast.
They knew it was going to be our 100th show, but now they know it's our 99th show. So Blizzard, you need to move it on another week because we had a break recently. So if you can push it back a week, that would help.
We'll just do 2 episodes in 1 week. It's okay. It's all right.
It's all right.
All right, so moving on. We're going to have to change the sounder for this so it says discussions. But anyway, it's time for the discussion of the week.
And then he swooped down from above. I tell ya, you should have seen the size of those wings. I swear, Borondax could hardly cut through a gnome. What's a drenna anyhow? Can I drink it?
Discussion of the week.
Discussions of the week. All right. So now what we're going to do is each one of us is going to present a topic worth discussing, and then, well, discuss it. I think that's how it'll work, right?
I think that's how we've done it before. It kind of works.
Well, let's look at the show notes. Big Voodoo, your topic is up first.
All right, so I was browsing Twitter the other day.
What?
And yes, Twitter. And I noticed a post from Team Liquid because I like Team Liquid. They have a lot of guys who play under them that, I don't know, they're just kind of fan favorites. Everyone at Team Liquid that I've ever seen play seems like a really nice guy. They've got a lot more personality than a lot of people in esports, so I try and follow them. And I noticed a post saying that they had just created an Overwatch team. Now, for the most part, I'm not terribly familiar with a lot of these guys, and just because they're coming from games that I haven't really followed before. But I did notice one interesting one. They hired a guy by the name of AZK, who used to play Team Fortress 2 professionally, but he was permanently banned by Valve for match fixing. Just a couple of years ago is what it sounds like. Or a year and a half ago, I guess. So my question for the discussion is going to be, what do you think this does for esports? Do you think Team Liquid was right in getting this guy on their team? Do you think it could hurt the Overwatch scene?
Well, like you said before, like Blizzard games are already plagued by this with StarCraft. Like with just this week, we discovered that what's his name, Marine Lord was match fixing. And Life, the greatest Zerg player in the game, is in jail because he was cheating. That's how seriously they take StarCraft in South Korea. So So we already have cheaters playing StarCraft, and they're in the top of the community. So if we start seeing that in Overwatch before the game's already out, I don't know. I think it could be a bad thing for Overwatch. But and that doesn't necessarily mean this guy's going to continue to cheat. But I don't know. That's my thought. Is it could already be ruining the community. What do you think, Britzza?
Firstly, I agree with you that there's already Blizzard has a real, not a real issue. Sorry, it's not just Blizzard, but Blizzard is finding that esports, and as it's growing more prominent, cheating is becoming more of a bigger thing. I mean, even in Heroes of the Dawn, was it Harvard that got kicked because they were multi-accounting or letting multiple people use one of the accounts? So it's one of these things where Blizzard's just going to have to accept that people are going to try and cheat in their games. Obviously, this guy, was match fixing. Is it CS:GO that he was match fixing in?
Team Fortress 2, I believe.
Oh, Team Fortress 2. So yeah, his comment when he was talking about how he is really apologetic for what he did, and he didn't think he'd get a second chance, and he really appreciates he's got a second chance. I'm not against that. I think fair enough if he has changed his ways, and he accepts that he's got to prove it. Like, people aren't just going to accept that he's changed his ways. They're going to have to see it in the way he demonstrates himself. But in terms of how it reflects on Overwatch, I don't know. I mean, has there been any controversy coming out of Overwatch esports at all?
There just isn't really very much of it right now. There's teams who are practicing, and there's like little tournaments that happen here and there. So there haven't been any cheaters other than there have been aimbots discovered already for the game, which it doesn't surprise me at all. But Blizzard's actually been pretty good on hopping on that. So so far there isn't a lot of cheating or bad things like that going on, but there just hasn't really been the opportunity for it yet because obviously still beta.
Does Blizzard get a say in this? Like, could they potentially say, actually, no, anyone who's been found guilty of a breach of terms isn't allowed to play competitively in our games?
I guess they would have a say in that.
If it was Blizzard ran tournaments, they could say he's not making it to the global finals, guaranteed. But I don't smaller tournaments, stuff ran by base trade and stuff like that. I don't see where they could with that. And I will hand it to both Liquid and this guy. And Britzza, you were right, it was CS:GO, not Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
All right.
I entirely misread that. Don't know how. But they handled it very well. They put out a statement immediately about it when they announced he was on the team. He put out a statement, like Britzza said, apologizing for what had happened before and saying that, he's willing to work to earn the respect. He doesn't just expect it. And probably the coolest thing listed in here is he even notes that, even if you don't like me and you don't want to support me, my teammates are great guys, and I hope you can support the rest of the team, even if you don't like me personally.
So now, on an off topic, I'm just noticing something looking at our stream background and everything. Big Voodoo, can you raise your arms outward? Now turn and face the camera. A little bit higher. Get closer to the camera. Not a little down. Down. There you go. He is holding Reaper's guns. Sorry, I just
shot for posterity.
I just had to see that. That made me laugh. Okay, back to the show.
Back to the show.
So another thing that I saw an article on is that this year is going to be the biggest year that esports has ever seen yet, as far as profit for the companies and then profit for the players. So cheating is probably universal, not just within Blizzard. So, and cheating happens in real sports. Look at the Patriots. Come on, they're cheaters. It's probably going to be something that is going to have to be dealt with for forever, assumedly in esports. Especially as it gets bigger.
Go on.
Especially as it gets bigger, higher rewards, people are going to want those rewards, meaning more cheating. You would think.
That's exactly it. And Blizzard's, they've obviously invested, or EA's invested so much money in getting the platforms for these scenes, and they're pumping so much. Well, they will hopefully be pumping even more money into these games. And you're right, Tarley, it's just going to become a big magnet. But the thing is do you not think there's going to be like a blur between what counts as cheating and what is just really bending the rules? Because this isn't something as, for example, the reason I think of this is because I think it was maybe a year ago there was a big story that broke, I think, with League of Legends, and how it was basically a doping scandal. People were using performance enhancing drugs in League of Legends, which is really weird because you just don't think that you need those sort of drugs. But I guess it makes sense.
What is a performance enhancing drug for video games? Like Adderall or
Ritalin?
Yeah.
Ritalin. Just
I'm
caffeine
pretty
into
sure
the
that's what it
eyeball.
was. Like, it was either Ritalin or Adderall, something like that.
Yeah.
Something
Cocaine.
that just makes you stay up.
I guess.
But then what I'm thinking is, obviously there's cheating in terms of substances, there's cheating in terms of how you use your accounts and these sort of terms of service. And I just wonder, is it just not going to get really convoluted as to what counts as cheating and what doesn't?
I think it already is kind of convoluted. I mean, like,
yeah. I just think, there's obviously some things like aim bots and other things that are really, they obviously are cheating. But when that story broke, I thought, does that mean if you down a pint of coffee before you go in, is that enhancement? Or
well,
I
like
don't know.
win trading in StarCraft is a very interesting way of cheating. Like, just these two guys just kept playing against each other, both letting each other win. Like, is that really cheating, or is that just taking advantage of a system that allows for it?
Yeah, it's cheating.
It's cheating.
Okay.
If you're throwing games, there's no way that's not cheating. Like, if you're throwing games to let someone win, or someone is letting you win, then you're not competing. You're just letting people win or taking free wins. That's, I don't know, that's not what esports should be about. That's never what it's been about. People watch these to watch high-end gameplay, not to watch someone throw a game and give up.
Oh, is that what Lil Bao was doing at BlizzCon last year?
Yeah, I was mad about that too, even if he wasn't cheating. It's dumb.
All right. Well, anything else about this esports cheating controversy before we move on to the next discussion?
No.
Okay.
I'd like an add-on that tells me how to play Overwatch. Does that count as cheating? Maybe play for me?
Yes,
Probably.
I think so. All right, so moving on, my discussion topic was I was drinking some alcohol and playing some Overwatch when this idea struck me, and for some reason I still think it's a good idea, so I'm presenting it to you. So, as you guys are aware, that in Hearthstone you can get different heroes for your decks, where it's an entirely different hero with the exact same abilities. It doesn't actually change how you play that hero. So in Overwatch, you can get skins for your heroes, but the way Blizzard's presenting their characters is they're not giving you skins that fundamentally change who the character is. But what if they introduced new heroes, like completely their own lore, their own backstory, but have the same abilities, same weapons, or the weapons could be slightly different, but all in all, they're technically the same hero, but a different character. That way they could present more lore options, just more characters in general, without affecting the overall balance of the game.
I'm going to go for the really obvious rebuttal on that.
And they could release these as, you could pay money for them. It would be a whole nother way for Blizzard to get money from this game without it affecting balance.
Given, though, that how much time and money Blizzard has spent developing the background and lore of these characters, do you think it would work if they then said, by the way, there's all these other characters that are just alternate versions?
I'm not saying they would just release 23 of them right off the bat, for each character. I think they would have to be, because they have invested so much time in each character's story that when they release just one of them, they would have to, put the time and effort for a full storyline to do it. I just think it would be more likely of them doing that than just making a gender bender tracer skin, for example. because they don't want to fundamentally change who Tracer is.
But by the same point, I mean, if you say you have another version of Tracer, is that? I mean, that's what you're saying, is that it's like another.
His name is Ryan, for example, and he's from
Okay.
China, and he still runs around really fast and has 2 guns and throws a sticky bomb, but otherwise he's a completely different character.
It's essentially just a skin at that point, though.
Yeah, that's. And also, how do you explain why he has the same abilities as Tracer? Because Tracer's really unique, and then we've got to effectively say there's someone else.
That is the issue right there, is all of their characters are unique, and if they release these, they're no longer unique. Like, Tracer can't be unique if there's Tracer and then someone who does exactly the same thing as Tracer.
But
You're right.
in the same view, is there anything wrong with them? I don't know, doing almost like a.
I guess
'cause
my thought on this was like, how is Blizzard going to continually keep the game fresh without overflowing it with so many different heroes like MOBAs have, that there's just like so many different strategies you have to figure out. Like, I know Blizzard has said they don't want to overload the game with heroes, so I don't know. It was just a thought.
I feel like maps would be the best way to do that. Like, changing up the map pool is going to be a better way of keeping Overwatch fresh than changing up the hero list. Like, a new hero every now and then, yeah, that's great, but map pool is going to affect the game just as much without, you know, giving you this huge amount of things that you have to learn when you're just stepping in, too.
I mean, I see what you're getting at, Tarley, with the how do you keep the character rosters fresh?
Maybe I'm presenting the idea in the wrong way. Maybe.
What are you trying to?
I don't know. Like,
say
maybe skins are a better idea, but my thought was just like Blizzard doesn't want to change their characters fundamentally. Like, making Tracer a guy would then no longer make her Tracer. That's why it would be like a different hero than a skin for Tracer. But I don't know. Maybe it's not a good idea after all.
You know what's odd, too? If they did that, it could actually affect balance. Because unless the characters are the exact same dimensions as the characters they're...
Yeah. There would be a competitive advantage in playing the female characters, probably, than the guy characters.
Yeah, because they're smaller.
Because they're smaller.
Smaller hitboxes.
Which, you know, I don't know. It'd be loads of women jumping around the screen at the esports finals, wouldn't it?
Well, I need a big sounder that just says "shut down" for Tarley's idea.
No, I don't. Let's play with it further. Go on, Big Pretty.
I think it... Essentially, they just become skins, though, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's true. What would be the difference between that other character and it just being a skin for the character?
What if
they could do skins and then have a backstory with the skin, like...
Yeah, that is maybe a better idea. If they... Yeah.
It might work if they did it as like a holiday thing.
Yeah.
Like, if they... Say they did a holiday, you know, the same way that WoW holidays work. So say they had, you know...
Santa Claus Torbjorn.
Oh, yeah, but they could come up with a whole... You know, like how there's... the Winter Vale. I can't remember his name. Is it?
Great
Father
Wintervale?
Yeah,
Great
that's it.
Yeah.
They could come up with a female version of I can't pronounce his name.
Torbjorn.
And say, you know, that's the Christmas figure. That's Mrs. Christmas for this holiday. She's that figure, and you get to play as her, and she is that. She has her own story. So she's this narrative character. And you could
so
play
special versions of characters that only come around seasonally or every once
seasonally.
in a while.
Oh yeah, once every, and maybe that's how they do holidays. Is that if you do a
Headless
like
Horseman
a challenge?
Tracer.
Pardon? What was that?
Headless Horseman Tracer.
Headless Horseman Tracer. But what I mean is that maybe that's something they do with holidays. That, you know, in the same way like you're trying to get the Headless Horseman mount.
Yeah.
If you complete a challenge, you get that character, as it were, which is an alternate reality version or whatever it is. It's another narrative. Like you say, you could have a headless Tracer for Halloween
Britzza,
who still has the teleport.
you have
Gills?
just perfectly fixed my idea into a good idea.
That's what
You
I
know-
set out to do.
Honestly, they could do it as like how they advance the story in Overwatch too. Like, say Overwatch's story becomes Tracer gets shot and dies,
And someone
Permanent
picks up her suit.
death. Yeah, someone picks up her stuff. Bam, new skin of whoever Tracer's essential replacement is, and now you can play as them or as Tracer.
But they wouldn't. They could always say it's not canon. It just kind of exists in its own thing.
Or it could
I
be
guess
canon.
they could go canon. I don't know. Maybe.
Like playing the original Tracer then wouldn't be considered canon because she's dead.
Well, these characters are supposed to be killing each other, so it would make sense that some of them actually die.
Did we touch? We didn't even touch on Alive. Like that came out like after we did last week's show. Briefly mentioned that cinematic. Man, that was fantastic. Like I thought Recall was good, and then man, Widowmaker. I started playing her after that cinematic, and she's good. But man, I thought Tracer was done for a second.
That would have been the big reveal. By the way, Tracer's cancelled. It happened. We've killed her off.
We've killed her
You
off
can't
before the
play
game's
Mother
even
Bar.
released.
Oh,
They do have
But
a
no-
new over-the-shoulder pose for her, by the way, in the game.
yes. Which
It's a
I don't know, I
pin-up
don't-
pin-up pose. It's equally as butt showing, whatever.
Exactly. It's not. I don't think the pose is better. It's like going from kind of sexy over the shoulder to
Sexy pin-up.
playful cheerleader. It's
know.
kind of it hasn't really moved the boundary in my opinion. There is still butt. So, but hey, never mind.
Whatever. We don't mind.
But I think what we got onto and what we hopefully Blizzard's listening as they always do.
All right.
I think that works. Why can't, because a skin like that, in the same way like when you're collecting a WoW mount, they don't replace like the Valentine mounts, because you could make these things really rare. Like maybe you've got to find an Easter egg or do a combination of things to get an achievement. Like find an Easter egg, win so many matches or play so many matches, and play as every character. Maybe they do special skins for the characters and you have to play as every character's skin, or I don't know. They could do really fun things, and then you unlock that season's character with their alternate reality. But really, like you said, they're just another version of the character we already have.
I just think it's another way of ultimately adding variety to the game, like to keep it fresh. Because ultimately, Overwatch, once it's out, that's it. What is going to happen afterwards? So there's already people posting on the forums concerned that the game isn't going to last very long, and like, I hope it does.
I
It's
think
a
it
risk of-
probably will.
There is a risk it won't last long,
Yeah.
but I think the risk is with the console versions. I think PC is going to be as popular as ever years from now. It's just I don't think the console scene's going to last long.
Kind of
So-
like the console version of Diablo. Like it's
I
there.
don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta remember, it's an FPS, man,
That's
and
true.
that's what competitive gaming on console pretty much is first-person shooters. Like, Call of Duty's had 20 games come out that people still play.
But my view is the competitive players or the people who really enjoy first person shooters, they'll pick up Overwatch and then they'll release like the next Call of Duty or the next whatever. And people will the thing with consoles is I don't know whether it's just me, but I tend to play a game and then when the newer game comes out, I play that. And I couldn't see myself going back to Overwatch.
I don't see Blizzard doing an Overwatch 2 either. I don't
No,
see
it wouldn't
that
happen.
happening.
In the same way I'm not playing Halo 5 competitively anymore. It's there, but I'm too busy with other games on the console. And I just feel like, unlike a PC...
Like, an Overwatch could definitely fall into that trap, at least on the console. Unless they keep it as actively fresh and everything as they do on the PC. We'll have to see. Well, this discussion topic of mine lasted longer than I thought it would.
We had a really good idea come out of it. It's a really good idea. If I do say so myself.
All right. Well, anything else on Overwatch before it's Britz's turn?
Not long to go till release.
Give me beta.
give me beta.
You'll
have
have
you guys
beta at the end of the
Blizzard-
month.
have you guys ordered the Origin version?
Yes, which at this point now I can actually play the pre-order skins in the beta because I have the Origins edition, which is pretty cool.
Cool. So you're also getting Tracer and Heroes of the Storm on
Next week.
next week.
Yep.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Oh yeah. All right. So moving on, Britzza, your discussion topic. Let's hear it.
Okay, so obviously to celebrate Heroes of the Dawn, Blizzard has decided to let all characters on Heroes of the Storm be playable. You don't need to have unlocked them or anything. You can just play any character now, and because they changed the game,
That is just for
months
this
ago,
weekend.
just for this weekend, exactly. In fact, it ends tomorrow. After tomorrow, it's gone.
Yep.
And because they changed the game months ago, you don't now need to like get them to certain levels to use their abilities. Effectively, that you can just play all aspects of the game now. And I was thinking, that's really cool, and it's really done a lot to promote. Heroes of the Storm. Is this something they could do with other Blizzard games? And my thought behind it, say for example, they're looking to build up WoW subscribers again. What if, for a weekend, maybe BlizzCon, they just said, right, WoW is completely free this weekend, and we'll give you a level 100 in any character class you want, or level 110 by that stage, hopefully. Well, yeah, it will be 110. And you can just play the game. Maybe they'll come up with like a special introductory stage to get people who are completely fresh to understand how the game works. But what if they just said, you can just play for free for this weekend, and you can play any class. You get one class to boost, and you can just play it and really get to know the game. And then after that weekend, we shut it down, and you have to then pay for the game to get your boost and keep playing on whatever character you had. Although it wouldn't make sense to boost to max level, maybe like as a normal boost would, 10 levels down. And I just wonder whether that would do a lot to bring new people into the game. It kind of bouncing off our discussion of Nastarius. That obviously is a huge pull for people. If you're not paying, they go and check it out. So maybe that's how they need to start promoting and marketing WoW, just to get people to try it out and go, actually, this is really fun, and start paying and subscribing. I mean, do you think that would work? I don't, maybe they do the same for Diablo, where they let you have a max level character to go around adventure mode on. Maybe like I don't know how you do it with StarCraft. Actually, it probably wouldn't work at all.
Right. Well, I mean, I think a free weekend for any of their games could be beneficial. There's like for Overwatch, for example, it's going to cost $60, and if somebody is weary about it, like, do I want to play it or not? They have a free Overwatch weekend, like they're doing with the open beta. I think could definitely be beneficial with WoW. They would have to, I mean, especially like if a Warlords of Draenor situation, you load up in a level 100 character and you're just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit different for WoW how they would do a kind of free promotional experience. Like, would they give you a character that's fully raid geared? Like, so you could actually raid? Would they have full PvP gear so you could do PvP? Like, if you're getting a free character at level or max level for just a weekend to play, like, how much do you actually benefit from that?
What if instead it's just you get all the expansions up to current expansion, and you get the equivalent of a boost? Like in the same way, if you got a boost now, it would take you to 100. But what I'm saying is, it would take you to the start of the current expansion, and you could play through the current expansion, as it were, for that weekend. So you just get the standard, uncommon gear that most boosts get.
Big Voodoo, what do you think? You've been silent on this topic so far.
If it doesn't work, let me know.
It could work. I just don't. I don't know. It's odd for me to say, like. I honestly feel like the best way to bring people into WoW isn't getting new people to try it. It's getting the people who already know what WoW is to come back. Like, giving them a reason to come back. Because with how high WoW's subscriber numbers have been at some points, Like, there's not a whole lot of new people out there who are interested in games that are going to attempt to play it.
Okay.
So I feel like
There's
it would...
new people turning 14 every day, Matt.
Big
Big Voodoo, sorry.
there is, like, you're gonna get some, but you're gonna get a lot more from getting the people who have played WoW to kind of reignite that interest. Something like seasonal heroes that we talked about before, just like Diablo, like stuff like that. I feel like would be much more beneficial.
That was an amazing idea. Kudos to whoever came up with that idea. Seasonal WoW heroes.
Wasn't that Big Voodoo's idea, or was that Britz's?
I think that was our collective idea.
Yeah. Good job to us. All
Right.
Good job to us.
But I don't know. A free weekend wouldn't be bad. The character boost might be kind of odd to work out. I'm sure Blizzard could find a way, but
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I just feel like the character should have access to do more things than just a standard boost character would.
Okay.
Maybe they don't get to keep, like, maybe they just have, like, a special set of weekend gear, and if they decide to buy the game, the gear goes away. Like, it's like temporary gear that only stays on your character for 2 days, which would be interesting, but that would allow somebody to see what a raid looks like, or what, like, playing an arena is like at full gear. They're like, hey, this is cool, I want to buy it. Then, well, my gear's gone, I actually have to earn it now, but they would have at least seen that.
No, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You know, I think, yeah, you've got to give them a taste of end content so they want to play to it.
Like, even let
that
them
would make
keep
sense.
the character if they buy the game, because they get a boost anyway. But
And yeah, I think that would work. In terms of, I don't know if you'd need to change it for returning players, because say they've got like 3 max levels already and they've taken a step away from the game. I don't know what Blizzard would need to offer them to, or maybe you're right. Maybe it would say, listen, we're going to give all of your characters that special weekend gear, so you can just have fun. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's like a special reward anyways, which is like, listen, if you come back to WoW and play this weekend, even if you don't subscribe, just by playing WoW for that weekend, like doing a couple of things each day, we'll give you like a bonus in another game, like, you know, a skin on heroes.
Yeah, there should be some actual other incentive from just WoW to do it. Like, if you complete the current raid at this difficulty, you get to keep the gear, or you get a pet in this, or a mount in Heroes of the Storm or something. Yeah.
Deathwing amount announced.
In Heroes, that would be awesome.
that would be
And
amazing.
it just flies over and burns the entire...
On
God,
another
that'd be
note, I got Deathwing today in Hearthstone.
Whoa.
And on another note, I got my moose mount in World of Warcraft.
Woo!
Did not earn it
Why did we
in
mention
any
this at the
way.
beginning?
I don't know. I just remembered to talk about it. There was a group that was running across all servers. Like, they were doing charity runs. If you donated to the St. Jude Children's Hospital, they would run you through the Hellfire Citadel on Heroic to get your moose
That's
mount.
cool.
So it was moosing for charity is what they called it. It was all over the World of Warcraft forums, so a lot of people signed up for it. It was pretty cool. We wiped once and then we killed it, got the moose mount, and that was it.
Awesome.
And then we went and played Heroes.
Yes, we did. Right, yeah, you guys were in the Skype call with me when I did that, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that happened. So, yes, your discussion topic is interesting. I would like to see something come of it, but Blizzard, I don't know, you're listening, what do you think? Write us a letter, Blizzard. we give our email at the end of every show. When was the last time we checked that email? Have we gotten any questions?
I do check it, and I don't see a lot. Admittedly, we get the usual, you know, Twitter updates all the time and things like that. But yeah, I will have another search in case, you know, Mike Moorheim messages in like every week. You guys keep ignoring me.
So just on another quick little discussion, we talked about it briefly in our little message board, but and we kind of came to our own conclusion. But I wanted to ask the audience what they thought on the idea of changing the name of the podcast. So we just discussed it because we are not really a World of Warcraft specific podcast anymore. We are an all-encompassing Blizzard podcast. And while changing the name, Geeks of Azeroth is our identity. It's our legacy. Should we change it to be more well-rounded to Blizzard? We kind of decided no, but we thought we would ask the community, see what you guys thought. So if you think we should change the name, if you have an idea, nothing like dick butts for World of Warcraft or something, like nothing like that, please. But if you do have any suggestions, yes or no, keep the name, change the name, just tweet it out to us. We'd love to hear your suggestions. Right, Big Voodoo?
I agree.
We could just call it Big Voodoo's podcast.
Yes.
The newest member
Makes
of the
sense.
show, it becomes his podcast. All right. Well, I think we're kind of wrapping up. Kind of a short show, unless anybody wants to discuss something.
Other than announce that we're all hopefully intending to go to BlizzCon
Right.
this year. I know you guys are planning to go, so anyone else who's listening who's planning to go to BlizzCon, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm hoping to go. It's just, you
You have
I've
to
got to
fly
get up
across
at 4
the
a.m. to
ocean.
get tickets, and then I've got to sort out flights, and it's just a bit more a logistic nightmare for me. But I really want to go. But obviously, if there's anyone listening who's planning on going to BlizzCon, obviously give us a shout, because these two lovely gentlemen will be going.
This is going to be year number
probably.
4.
Year number 4. But likewise, if anyone's intending not to go, but I know last year I said I was going to try and set something up for like the virtual ticket people, and I never did it because my weekend got crashed. So what I will do is, if people are interested in doing something like the virtual ticket holders and I can't go, let me know if you're keen to get in a chat room and talk about things as they're happening and they're getting announced. I don't know, or maybe we'll do some
and
games.
if you don't make it, we'll do a live broadcast from the show like we did last year, and Big Voodoo will be a part of it this time. He was sitting next to me when I called into the show.
I was
That's
coaching him through different things he needed to talk about on the podcast.
You're his PR man.
So, yeah, it's going to be great.
yeah, let us
I'm
know.
already hyped for it, and I don't have a ticket yet.
You could be going to the charity ball, Tarley.
I really hope not. I mean, for charity, but my bank account really hopes not, but we'll see.
Oh, that's the best kind of giving, though, the one that you can't afford.
I guess. All right, well, I guess that about wraps up our show for this week. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, as always. Anybody have any shout-outs, I guess, before we sign off? Shout out to a lovely baby named Quentin. He's my biggest fan.
Oh. The hearts and minds of all our listeners, Tarley.
Yeah.
Look at you. Shout out to the audience. I know that's a really easy one, but I thought I will. And Tarley's mum.
Oh, all right. All right, well, thank you, everybody, and especially my mom, apparently, for listening to the show. As always, you
Wait
can
weeks to get in there.
As always, you can check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Twitch. You can check us out at Geeks of Azeroth on Twitter. You can find me personally at Tarley_pause. Britzza, where can we find you?
You can find me at Britzza_EG.
And you can find Big Voodoo at his ridiculously elite speak Twitter handle. What is it?
At V1GB00D00. It's been a minute. I feel like I'm
forgot
going
to
to
ask.
fail at that one time.
Can you actually fit that in a Hearthstone ID? Is that your username?
Mine's Big Voodoo normally. It's Leet Speak
Okay.
Big Voodoo because it wasn't available on Twitter. So
All right, so you can always check us out or email us, geeksofazerotheg@gmail.com, if you want to send us fan mail. Should we change the name? You hate Leet Speak? Send all of those messages to that email address. And you can check us out on www.epicgeeks.co.uk for all the content we produce. I've been streaming Overwatch. You can find that on the Twitter or on the Twitch. You can find the YouTube stuff on YouTube, like that thing you did with the Demon Hunter.
The Demon Hunter starting zone.
Yes, so check us out, and we'll see you sometime next week. Same time, same place. Yarg.
Yarg.
All right.